About this, the 5'9" Dykstra leading the Vikings in block shots thus far with 3. She had 9 last year. He's better leaper than people realize. Long arms, great timing.
It's been interesting to see how the Vikings are going to make up for the blocks and the steals that they lost in players like Brooke Walling and Riley Dykstra. But Demi Dykstra has been filling that gap as immediately down the court comes Eldridge. She lays it in to make it 12-5 Vikings. Olivia Wickstrom the other way. Drives in from the wing, kicks it to the corner, as this time Oberg wants a three-pointer, back iron, and rebounded by the Pioneers. Foot on the gas still for Cal State East Bay. They quickly get it right back to Eldridge. She takes another shot, a floater, which misses, rebounded by Wickstrom. And they have ran almost entirely through Eldridge. She's taken 4 of the 6 shots for the Pioneers, as Wickstrom finds some space and drives it in, scores on the reverse.
Beat the first defender, and there just was not a lot of help after that. Olivia Wickstrom with a layup to give her 4 points.
Help defense has been lacking early on here for the Pioneers. When the Vikings have won that 1v1, there has not been help in time. We've seen Oberg a couple of times successfully able to create space on drives, and that time worked out for Wickstrom, as that's going to be an offensive foul against Annika Hornung. Drawing it is Wickstrom.
Good piece of defending there. Maddie Grambois, I think, stepping over.
Excuse me, that is Maddie Granbois.
And then just getting there in time and just outside the arc to take the charge.
And that's exactly the kind of plays that Maddie Granbois has brought to the Vikings, one of the more experienced players on this roster. Gritty, defensive-minded player who can also shoot the 3, as Demi Dykstra switched on to and drives all the way in once again, straight to the basket, seemingly no defense
Vikings
there.
Shooting just 33% from the field in the first 2 games, but starting 7 of 10 tonight and opening up an early 11-point lead.
She's got 8 already on 3 of 3. Eldridge gets it to Gwen Osland. Osland, the 6'3" junior, getting into the game for the first time, and Casey pulls up for 3, rims out. Vikings still yet to make their first changes. Osland the first change for the Pioneers. More waiting in the wings. We're going to see a lot of starter minutes this season, as it is a short bench for Carmen Dolfo's Vikings. Working her way under the basket is Oberg, taking it herself and putting it in.
A little post move for Mason Oberg, very pretty.
Showing the full tool belt on offense. Makes it 18-5 Vikings. What a start.
As we said, for 2 teams that are still looking for their first win, you get that early confidence. That's just huge.
Osland working in the post against Deaver and can't get that mid-range floater to go on the turnaround, as Jaden Watts is getting set to check in for Western Washington. Granbois in the paint. Hands it off to Wickstrom. That shot was blocked and out. It will be Vikings ball. Getting a hand up there was Osland, as Jaden Watts will check in for Olivia Wickstrom. It's a smaller lineup this year for Western Washington than what we saw last year. Aspen Garrison out, Brooke Walling out. It's tough to replace that kind of post ability. Is Jaden Watts right there. That's going to be another block and taken away. Work was done by Sierra Morris, the sophomore out of Imperial, California. Kelsey Valencia gives it up to Smith. Smith drives in, up and under layup. It's too strong. Rebounded by Dykstra. Cross court to Oberg. Oberg finds space in the paint once again, and this time just a little bit short as a foul on the rebound. It's going to go against Watts. Jaden Watts got in foul trouble a little too often last season, trying to cut down on that this year. She's getting, through the first 2 games, about 16 minutes per game off the bench. As you look again at this little post move from Mason Oberg, her first bucket of the night. Vikings as a team right now, 8 of 14. Pioneers, 2 of 8. Smith, defended by Dykstra, and now they kick it around to Valencia. Osland with 11 on the shot clock. Hands it off to Carey. Carey kicks it to the corner, as that is a long 2-pointer for Sierra Morris. Toe on the line. But they gave her too much space out there. And a little fortunate to not have given up the 3-pointer there, just inches away. Oberg into Deaver at the elbow. Dykstra, less space this time from 3, and she rattles it away. Rebounded by Granbois on the offensive boards. Entry pass towards Watts, battling with Osland for it, and it goes out off of Osland. Vikings ball, a couple of subs coming. It's going to be a Carver Gym debut for Jalen Arosamena. As Deaver and Grand Boys check out. Wickstrom as well coming back into the game. Arosamena out of 2 a lot in Oregon.
Talked about starters playing a lot. Wickstrom was out for all of about 90 seconds and back on the floor.
Straight back in. Player who replaced her, though, Watts, still in the game. Arosamena pulls up and gets it from the mid-range in the paint. Arosamena had a really good game against Cal State LA, was efficient from the floor, and was able to pick up rebounds as well. She gets her first of the night on that Cal State East Bay miss. Vikings trying to extend a 13-point lead. Oberg, hounded by Carey, does get it to Dykstra. Took a shot as Ariah Smith got straight up to her feet and tried to get a hand in and caught too much of Dykstra.
Smith got tight on Dykstra. Dykstra kind of bumped her and Smith fell over. And as she got up, Dykstra caught the ball. You'll see it. You'll see the bucket here from Arosamena. And there was another collision, and that one was whistled for a foul.
Arosamena versus Cal State LA played 21 minutes off the bench, went 4 from 9 from the field, had 9 points, 8 rebounds, close to a double-double. Very efficient, doing a little bit of everything. As Dykstra, space for a mid-range that she leaves short. They get it up quickly towards Kelsey Valencia. As Valencia throws it out of bounds beyond the reach of Ariah Smith. There's another turnover, number 6 for the Pioneers. Vikings yet to turn the ball over. That's really good to see. That was a problem for them last season. If you could look at one weak point statistically, they turned the ball over too much, had a negative turnover ratio. It has been a problem for their first 2 games, but this is a good start so far through the first 8 minutes.
Very clean so far and very efficient from the field, 9 of 17.
Dykstra to Grand Boys.
A little bit of zone here, 2-3.
They do give Grand Boys space for the 3 off the zone. The Vikings abuse it. Grand Boys was good from 3 her last time out, and she hits her first of the night. Smith spins and gets it off to Taylor Eldridge, was highly involved the first few minutes. This time gets it out to Kelsey Valencia. 10 on the shot clock. Back to the basket. 3 Vikings around her. Can't get any space. Just chucks it up with the left hand. As it's going to be a jump ball. And just getting the ball for the Pioneers there was Annika Hornung, as that looked like it was going to be an easy rebound for Watts. But Hornung came in, got 2 hands on it, forced the jump.
Oh, did that draw iron?
The shot clock has been reset to 30, but I agree, Butch. I don't think that did draw iron. Doesn't matter as they get it in immediately.
They got a very quick layup off it, so yeah.
As Hornung lays it in. That's her first bucket of the night. Dykstra at the top, directing traffic, gets it to Grand Boys. Got a 3 on the last offense possession. This time to Watts, loses the dribble for a minute, double team. Turns and gets it back to Grand Boys. Wickstrom in the corner, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Arosamena fade away, too strong. Rebounded by Hornung. Arosamena hit her first shot, misses on her second here tonight. Hornung trying to get it done on both ends as she does, and she's calling Maddie Grand Boys too little.
Transfer from Stanislaus State, averaged about 4 points a game there last year.
Wickstrom, long 3-pointer, yes! That's impressive there from Olivia Wickstrom. She's just 1 of 4 from 3-point range for the first 2 games of the season. Cashes that one in to bring it back up to a 15-point Viking lead, and Watts rejects Hornung on the other side. It's going to be a line change here for the Vikings. Deaver is going to come in. We're going to see Ellie Brockman for the first time, 24-25 in Carver. Brooke Donnelly, her first touch of the night. Gets it off to Taylor Eldridge as a travel is called on Eldridge. Vikings will take back possession with 25 seconds left. Shot clock turned off here for the first quarter. Won't be surprised to see them try to get the last shot here.
They do here. Pioneers extending and back in man-to-man now.
Oberg has had a lot of freedom off the dribble in this first quarter. Trying to work around an Arosamena screen. 10 on the shot clock, loses the dribble, gets it to Arosamena. Back to Grand Boys free throw line as she traveled. Back-to-back travels on both ends of the floor. And it'll be 5.3 on the clock for the last possession of the corner for the Pioneers. They get it to Krista Schaefer, and it's going to have to be a long heave on the run. It will be short from Kelsey Valencia, and a very good first quarter for Western Washington. They shoot 55% from the field and go 4 of 6 from 3 as they open up a 11-26 lead. We'll be right back after a short break on Vikings TV. Welcome back to Carver Gym. Vikings up 26-11 versus the Cal State East Bay Pioneers in the first home game of 2024-2025. Adam Race alongside Butch Kamena on the call for you. Butch, that was a clean first quarter from the Vikings. The one turnover came with just 5 seconds left in the quarter. Vikings shot very well. 7
assists as well, 11 of 20 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3, which is really critical because they had not gotten off to a good start this year in that respect. Just 10 of 40 in their first 2 games. So a nice opening quarter for the Vikings, a 26-11 lead. See if they can extend it as they'll open with possession here in the second quarter.
Demi Dykstra leading the way offensively. 8 points from her on 3 of 5 shooting. She hit back-to-back 3-pointers. Also has the Vikings lead in assists with 3, as well as a couple of boards.
Demi not on the floor right now. She sat out just a total of 1 minute 54 seconds in the first 2 games.
She missed very little time. She is crucial this season as Deaver drives in, shows off her bag on the layup. She has shown a few offensive tools early this season. It's going to be exciting to watch as an immediate transition 3 by Araya Smith comes up with nothing but air.
Short and wide right. Thanks for the move off the dribble. A little quicker than Horning and uses that quickness to get to the rim.
Deaver, the Utah Tech transfer, a big who can score in the paint, also can shoot threes. She's hit a couple this season. She almost loses it there, but they get it to Ellie Brockman down under the basket to Wickstrom. Has almost taken away again, but Oberg comes up with it, rattles out a 3-point attempt. Brockman with the offensive board. Deaver, long 2-pointer. That one's wide right.
And we're going to get a foul. Looks like it's going to stay at this end of the floor.
That is going to be against Araya Smith of Cal State East Bay. So you're right, it will stay on this end of the floor.
Allison Deaver, who played with her sister at Utah State and had a very good end to last season. A couple of really good performances in the WAC tournament, and a really good addition for the Vikings.
Sumner High School legend is a turnover on the inbound pass. They get it in, and it's a missed layup by Krista Schaefer, who just threw it off the underside of the iron. Wickstrom all the way across to Rosamana. Brockman, a lot of space for 3, but drives in instead on the 2-point attempt. Almost got the roll, but it bounces out. Vikings, their biggest lead of the night right now at 17. Pioneers able to cut into that as Schaefer does get the roll. Krista Schaefer, the freshman out of Fresno, California, Sanger High School product. As that time the press leads to a foul. Too strong, trying to prevent Oberg from getting across half court. It will go against Layla Carey, rather.
Dykstra and Grandbois return for the Vikings.
Rosamena and Brockman check out. Brockman, who got some spot minutes last season as a redshirt freshman, getting more involvement in 2024 so far. Dykstra, as you said, straight back onto the floor. Gets to Wickstrom. Pioneers have been aggressive trying to cut into these passes all night. Vikings have done well to keep it away from them as Deaver goes to ground as she lays it up as she does draw the foul. It's going to go against Taylor Eldridge. First of the night against her, 5th against the Pioneers. It's a good find by Grand Boys in tight space. Deaver does enough to go to the line. Deaver has been perfect from the free throw line so far this season, 6 of 6. Cashes in on the first here tonight. Deaver, a player at Utah Tech who also shot around 80% from the line. Showing why right now. She's now 8 of 8 to start the season. Schaefer passes it off as a floating layup attempt from Sierra Morris won't go as Schaefer comes up with the offensive board. Had the mismatch on Grand Boys, but some tough defense leads to a tough shot and a miss.
Maddie Grand Boys doesn't recognize mismatch.
No, she does not.
It's like, no, it's not a mismatch. I can guard anybody.
She can guard just about any size of player.
Position on the floor, really.
As Deaver right there wasn't able to get the shot near the basket.
Probably be asked to guard more posts this year than she has in the past with the smaller lineup. She can be a absolutely tenacious perimeter defender.
When you look at the defensive statistics last season for the Vikings, the leaders are, of course, players like Brooke Walling, Aspen Garrison, but always in the conversation was Maddie Grandbois when it came to steals, and even when it came to blocks, she was amongst the Vikings leaders per game.
And we would be remiss to not mention the contributions of Stephanie Peterson.
Of course, Steph Peterson.
Well last year.
Over 2 steals a game from her last year. Ridiculous numbers she put up defensively. Valencia off the inbound. 15 on the shot clock. Schaefer back to Valencia. Gets a play set. Gets a screen from Hornung. Spin move. Well defended by Dykstra. It's going to be a travel. Demi Dykstra had her locked up entirely. She couldn't complete the handle and gives the ball away for another turnover. That is number 8 on the game for the Pioneers. Deaver at the top. Handoff to Grand Boys. Vikings patient in the half court so far in this game. Pioneers have played quickly. That's a long 3 from Oberg. Misses it. Rebounded by Hornung. Oberg, who has had a really tough start to the season shooting the ball, has contributed in a lot of ways, but it just has not been falling as that pass is right into the hands of Grand Boys. Tapped away and out. Vikings ball. And it's the turnovers in this game, Butch, that are really killing the Pioneers. It isn't the travels or the lost on a swipe at the ball. It's just the passes straight to the Vikings.
A number of different things. 9 turnovers to this point, just 2 for Western. And then the field goal percentages as well. They're only shooting 31.6%, just 6 of 19 from the field. So really struggling to get going offensively here.
Consistency has been the main problem. Jenny Thigpen, third-year head coach of the Pioneers, talked about consistency and intensity being the keys to this team and how they want to play this year. Dykstra drives in, smothered in the paint, but she draws the foul. It will go against Eldridge, her second. Pioneers predicted 7th in the CCAA preseason conference poll. Finished 10th last year. It was a disappointing season, which they went 2-7 through their last 9 CCAA games, ended up in 10th place, 9-13 on the season in conference play. They also lost both of their all-CCAA selections from last year, so a bit of a new face season. See if they can build something different. Dykstra, her second free throw, gets that one to go. Dykstra is up to 10 points now, first player in double digits scoring. Schaefer goes to ground, and there's going to be no foul. She just lost the dribble. Back up to her feet. It's another turnover. That's number 10.
Just kind of a stumble there. There was a little bit of contact with Jaden Watts, but nothing that you were going to call a foul, and just kind of lost her balance and went down.
Big lineup out there right now for East Bay. Schaefer at 6'2", Osland at 6'2" as well, both on the floor. Vikings have both Watts and Deaver out to match. Oberg drives in. She loses her balance, goes down. And that one is going to go the other way.
Nice effort by Jaden Watts on the baseline, but just couldn't quite get there in time. It's got to see how the Vikings attack this bigger lineup from Cal State East Bay. Maybe you get those larger posts involved on the perimeter and pick and roll with the quickness that you have on the floor, and either force them to switch and get a mismatch, or be able to slip those picks and get pick and roll situations for layups.
It's going to be a common theme this season. The Vikings are going to be outmatched for size pretty often. They're going to have to make the adjustment as a nice pass finds Osland, who finishes underneath the basket. Excuse me. Yes, that was Gwen Osland, the junior, Bellevue College transfer. She gets her first bucket of the night. Dykstra to Brockman, who's back on the court. Brockman aggressively defended by Brooke Donnelly. Dykstra able to drive all the way under, put it up, back iron and out. Rebounded by Deaver. There's a foul on the floor off the rebound. And it will go against Allison Deaver over the back.
Just
half of this second quarter gone.
Just her first, and as we talked about at the outset, not wanting to get in foul trouble with the small bench. Olivia Wickstrom has 2, but just 1 each for Deaver and Watts, so not too bad to this point.
Deaver has done well avoiding fouls as a center. That's actually her first foul this season. As Carey drives in, and there's foul number 2.
I'm not sure I'd say that this team has a center. That Deaver is a 4 who in some ways could play the 3 more comfortably than the 5. So right now, unless they get the Croco back, they're probably not going to have a true number 5 on the floor much at all this year.
Carey at the line. Hits the first free throw. Makes it 16-32 Vikings. Carey, who's shot under 50% from the free throw line this season. She's going to get that one back as there is a lane violation, I believe.
Someone on the left side of the lane. Not sure if it was Watts or Brockman, but another effort here.
She misses that one as well. Rebound is taken by Sierra Morris, who went hard to ground.
And did I just say, we just say Allison Deaver's been staying out of foul trouble?
And that is a quick 3, I believe, for her. Just 2, excuse me.
It is 3, you're correct.
Because she picked up 2 on back-to-back possessions and then 3 off the foul. That's
1 at this end, 1 on the foul shots, and then a third. So
that's about the quickest 3 fouls you'll see.
Not see her the rest of the half.
Donnelly to Carey, and they find it Sierra Morris. Just took a tumble, but she's up and looking fine. Gets it up to Carey. Carey swiped away by Oberg, and Grand Boys once again getting down and getting a jump ball. The possession arrow will be for the Pioneers. We'll switch over to the Vikings now as another hustle play from Grand Boys will lead to our first media timeout of the second quarter, first and only. It's 16-32 Vikings when we return here on Vikings TV.
Original, never compromise. Nobody can mess with my copyright. Make it look easy, I don't have to try that. Go and get it. Go and get it.
The legacy began in 1973. That was the year NCAA Division II was born. And since the very first day, our division has shaped generations of student athletes with a true sense of academics, athletics, and community. That is 5 decades of graduations, championships, teamwork, and personal development. 50 years of shaping student athletes into world-class leaders. NCAA Division II. Our division, our legacy.
Welcome back. Western Washington with a 32-16 lead over Cal State East Bay. A non-conference battle that is a West Region battle. And as you said, these two teams met in the West Region final in 2022. A big crowd down in Hayward. The Vikings with a 73-59 victory. They also played last year in Hayward, and Western jumped to a 24-6 lead en route to a 79-55 victory there.
Just 2 on the shot clock for this inbound play. They do get it to Schaefer. She's got to put it up in a hurry. She did not get it off in time. And build off what you were saying, Butch. Vikings 6-0 all-time against the Pioneers. They first played back in 1995 and then not again until 2009. This is the first matchup in Carver Gym since 2010. That was a 68-39 Vikings win. And East Bay has not had a good time against the Vikings historically. Not only have they never beat them, they've never come within 14 points of the Vikings. And the Vikings are off to an early double-digit lead here at Carver Gym in their home opener. Oberg, screened by Grandboys. Space to skip into the lane and kick out to Dykstra. This time she leaves it short. She hit a couple in a row, but has missed a few as well as Grandboys picks up the transition steal. Quick hands coming in from behind. Rosamena set to come back in for the Vikings. Dykstra down to Watts at the elbow. In towards the post, lays it up and in. Jaden Watts, who hasn't taken all too many shots this season. She puts that one away. That'll be her first bucket of the night. She's now 1 for 2. Quick pull-up three by Brooke Donnelly. Gets the roll.
Averaging 9 a game off the bench. The transfer from Salt Lake City Community College. Played in high school ball in Rigby, Idaho, in eastern Idaho.
3 of the main minute getters so far tonight are JUCO transfers for the Pioneers. 15 seconds on the shot clock here for the Vikings. Once again, patient in the buildup. Get it to Dykstra, does it herself. She draws the foul. The layup was far too strong, but she goes to the line.
It is interesting to watch the evolution of Demi Dykstra as an offensive basketball player. Even in high school, rarely a #1 option, but at the end of last season, she started to really become more aggressive offensively. And when we see it now, just taking threes, attacking the rim, just doing all sorts of things at the offensive end in addition to all the other things she does.
She had just 3.3 points per game last season. She led all Vikings freshmen in minutes, points, assists, and steals per game, as she has immediately been thrust into a very involved role. We're seeing it here tonight. She's the Vikings' leading scorer at 11 as Rosamena off the bench picks up a couple of offensive boards, goes up, and she misses on a layup, and it's going to be a foul on the rebound. And that will go against Jaden Watts. Rosamena, though, getting big in the paint, pulling down a couple of boards, just can't get the finish at the end of it around Sierra Morris. Rosamena, who hit her first shot of the night, has since gone 0 for 3. Watts will go to the bench as that is her second foul. 3 minutes left here in the first half. And in the bonus are the Pioneers.
We continue the discussion really quickly on Demi Dykstra. Only 3.3 points a game last year, but in the 2 regional games, 9 points in both games and shot 6 of 10 from the field, 3 of 6 from three-point range. Had a number of assists, some steals. And you just kind of see the light go on a little bit in those games.
As the season went on, she got more and more involved in the Vikings' offensive scheme. Knockdown shooter. When she gets hot, she is a quick scorer. We've already seen it happen with 2 back-to-back threes in this game. She's 3 for 7 from the field. Once again, aggressive, goes straight in, gets it off to a Rosamena. Up through some contact, gets it to go.
Great drive by Demi and excellent patience by the freshman Jalen Rosamena to get the lay-in.
Kelsa Valencia ball handling at the Vikings logo.
Valencia,
good defense from Dykstra.
Valencia from Atwater High School. We'll get that in a minute, the significance of that.
Carey back to Donnelly. More good defense from Demi Dykstra leads to an air ball. Getting big, getting hands in the face, and that time going to ground to get it to a Rosamena and break out of the backcourt. Really good defensive possession for the sophomore. Oberg, one of the elder statesmen of this team, her 3rd season as a Viking. Dykstra, 12 on the shot clock. She traveled. A couple too many jab steps there, lost her footing. Vikings still lead here by 16.
So Kelsey Valencia from Atwater, a little less than an hour north of Fresno. Helped her and her twin sister, helped them win their first conference championship in 30 years in high school. But Atwater High School is significant to Western because it's one of the high schools that Ryan Diggs, one of the leading scorers in the history of the men's program, played at.
That's another impressive connect the dots from Butch Kamena. As up with the layup there is Annika Hornung. Nobody does it better. And Dykstra.
Annika Hornung?
I'd say you.
Okay.
Nobody does it better.
Thank you. You're very kind, but no.
Quick pull-up from Demi Dykstra. That one's short. Kelsey Valencia, another rebound, brings it back the other way. As that pull-up jump shot ends up short, Hornung comes down with the offensive board. And
Maddie Grandbois got thumped on a screen.
so Grandbois, we've seen a few times tonight, taking some contact, drawing an offensive foul, and getting the turnover.
For a moment, you wondered if she was going to get up, but she hopped up pretty quickly and got back in the play.
Just as we were used to seeing. It's tough as nails. Oberg, screen, three, hits it.
Her first tray of the night. Mason Oberg, 5 points.
Got the handoff from Arosa Mana, who also provided the body, provided just enough space for Oberg to hit the three-pointer.
Mason does not need a lot.
He does not. Saw the performances in the GNAC tournament last season. She can be an absolutely elite three-point shooter. Off to a slow start this season. She certainly has it in her, we know that, as getting fouled is Gwen Osland.
So, with the foul trouble that the Vikings have, Ellie Brockman having to guard a much larger Osland. And
we're going to see CC Size for the first time this season at Carver Gym. Size's second appearance of the season. She made a 3-minute cameo in the season opener against Dominguez Hills and didn't record a stat, but this time getting some first half minutes. Osland hits the first free throw. Snoqualmie, Washington native, and has a cheering section in the crowd tonight.
yes, you can. Yeah, there's a good crew of them behind the East Bay bench in the reserve section. Pretty good basketball history on both the men's and the women's side at Mount Si.
As a turnaround floater from Oberg is too strong. 30 seconds left. It's a 4-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Valencia guarded by Size. Size screened. Valencia to Osland. Kicks it inside towards Hornung. Too strong on her layup attempt, and going to ground is Mason Oberg. I believe Oberg was fouled. Foul will go against Annika Hornung.
So Mason Oberg will get a couple free throws. The Vikings, after a really good first quarter, they started 7 of 10, 11 of 20 from the field overall in that period. Just 4 of 15 this quarter, but they've made up for some of it from the foul line. Did not shoot a free throw in the first quarter, but 5 of 6, and the very solid free throw shooting of Mason Oberg will have 2 here.
Vikings were shooting from the line at just 68% through the first 2 games, which is below the clip they had last season. It's in the mid-70s. So far today, they're 5 of 6 from the charity stripe. So we look again at the foul committed by Hornung on Oberg, just shoulder to chest, puts her down and puts her at the free throw line.
Mason Oberg last year just over 80% from the foul line.
Too strong on the first.
That's on me.
There's the whammy.
That one's on me.
Oberg 4 of 6 from the free throw line through the first 2 games of the season. Now 4 of 7 for the season. Make that 5 of 8. So 16-point lead for the Vikings. Last possession perhaps of this first half. It's brought up by Kelsey Valencia, guarded by Oberg. Bounce pass finds Schaefer. Schaefer back to Valencia. 3 on the clock. Kicks it to the corner, and it's taken away by Demi Dykstra. And that will do it for the first half. Fittingly ends with a turnover, as it is 41-25 going into the break. Vikings with a comfortable lead. We'll be back in just about 15 minutes for the second half of action here from Carver Gymnasium.
I would summarize my experience at Western as I was a guarded, nerdy kid who loved to perform, who allowed herself to put in the time and effort to carve herself into something.
Junk in the trunk, junk in the trunk,
And whatever that was has led me to where I am right now, to be a fully realized woman. And I'm really thankful for the time and the effort that I put in for myself, because if I didn't do it, no one else was going to.
Welcome back in here to the Weekly Court in Carver Gymnasium, Western Washington, in their 24-25 home opener for women's basketball have a commanding 41-25 lead for the Cal State East Bay Pioneers through the first 20 minutes of this one. Adam Race alongside Butch Kamena on the call for you on Vikings TV. Butch, take us through the stats of that first half.
Very great start for the Vikings. Hit 7 of their first 10 shots from the field. Cooled off a little bit there, but still shot 43% from the field. Advantages also from three-point range, going 5 of 10 there to just 1 of 4 for Cal State East Bay. East Bay does have a size advantage. Use that to that rebound advantage that you see, but the turnovers may be the big story of the half. The 14 for East Bay to 4 for the Vikings. Individually, leading the way for the Vikings was Demi Dykstra, 11 points, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds. Olivia Wickstrom with 7 points, 6 points each for Allison Deaver, Mason Oberg, 5 for Maddie Grandbois, 4 for Jalen Arosamena, and 2 for Jaden Watts. At the other end of the floor, Horning had 6 points, Annika Horning, and then 5 points for Taylor Eldridge, 4 each for Morris and Osland, 3 points for Brooke Donnelly, 2 for Schaefer, and 1 free throw for Layla Carey for their total of 25. A 41-25 lead for the Vikings in the first half, and the second half play-by-play. Here's Adam Race.
Thank you, Butch. Vikings looking to bounce back from what was a tough loss to take against Cal State LA in OT, a game in which they had a couple of chances near the buzzer to win it in regulation and just couldn't come up with the bucket and ended up falling in overtime. That's a Cal State LA team the Vikings beat in overtime here at Carver Gym early in non-conference play last season. The Vikings 0-2 start, but a couple of tough opponents, a couple of tough matchups, and coming really close on one occasion, so certainly not a reflection of the Vikings, who come into this season nationally ranked in the preseason. Of course, the defending GNAC tournament champions. Second round exit of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, to be fair, they are playing. This is not the lineup that last June they thought they were going to have.
Yep.
Aspen Garrison out, transfer Libby Stump out, Ellie Croco out, Riley Dykstra, decided shortly after last season that she was not going to use the COVID year and come back. So this is not really what they'd hoped to have, but still a very solid performance and a team that's going to compete very well over the course of the year.
Absolutely, and of course, under the experienced coaching of Carmen Dolfo, a legend at the NCAA level, it's possible to turn this young team into an extremely sound defensive team, obviously. They're going to run the plays to the best of their ability. It's a talented squad. As starting off this second half is back-to-back turnovers. Demi Dykstra stepped out of bounds on this end. And on the other end, Cal State East Bay with their 15th turnover of the night as Taylor Eldridge turns it over as trap on the immediate full-court press from Cal State East Bay. Vikings have done very well to work around it. They only had 4 turnovers in that first half. The Pioneers 14. Oberg at the free throw line, back to the basket with 10 seconds on the shot clock, passes it, and it's taken away by Layla Carey. Carey one-on-one in transition with Maddie Grandbois. A good finish. Up and under, around the arms of Grandbois. Carey's second bucket of the night. Wickstrom quickly down the other way. Pump faked a couple of times, and when it came out, it was too strong. Didn't come up with iron, and rebounded by the Pioneers. Smith. Pivoting, turning around. Blocked by Grandbois. They do get it around back to Carey, as Carey has back-to-back possessions with a bucket.
We should note that Allison Deaver with the 3 fouls did not start the second half. Jalen Watts is in for her.
As a timeout is going to be called by Carmen Dolfo early on here in this first half, as Dolfo does not like what she's seen so far. As that will extend out to the media timeout early here in the third quarter. We'll be back after a short break.
welcome back. The Vikings had a comfortable 41-25 halftime lead, but very quickly, 4 quick points by Layla Carey. At the other end of the floor, Western 2 turnovers and a missed layup, and Carmen Dolfo had seen enough. She was going to stem the momentum of that little run by the Pioneers right away, use that timeout just a minute and 32 seconds into the half.
Wanted it immediately, try to stop the bleeding and turn things around early here in this second half. As Demi Dykstra, crossover move, lost it, as she had lost her defender for a second. She's doubled, she gives it off to Grand Boys, 10 on the shot clock. Good entry pass into Watts, who finishes. Grand Boys on the feed.
It started a little disjointed, but it finished very well. Nice possession for the Vikings.
Smith drives in. That one's blocked away by Demi Dykstra.
As we said, the leader in blocks for the Vikings. That's her 4th of the year now.
First of the night.
Just has an incredible sense of timing with it. It's just
they pass it right back into Smith. Puts Dykstra to the ground for a second, makes her touch earth, but she's right back up. As that pass goes straight into the arms of Olivia Wickstrom. A turnover for Carey. That's her second. Transition run to perfection by Mason Oberg and Olivia Wickstrom. A 2v1. They get the and one.
Perfectly executed 2-on-1 transition. Wickstrom looks up the floor, gets it to Oberg. Now they've got that defender isolated in the layoff, and a little bit of a ticky-tack one, but it is contact, and Wickstrom will get the free throw.
That's exactly what you want right there on the transition. Oberg made Carey think that she would go up for the layup herself, gave it off to Wickstrom. Chance to complete the three-point play, and she does. Wickstrom in double-digit scoring, second player on either team to reach it.
Timeout worked, 5 straight points.
The experience of Carmen Dolfo once again showing itself as Carey wants another bucket. This time she passes it off, though, as Layla Carey has been extremely effective on the offensive end, this time distributing it to Annika Hornig, who finishes underneath the basket.
8 points, 8 rebounds for Hornig.
As a block as well.
And a block shot, yes.
And that'll be her first block of the night. She also has a steal. She's done a little bit of everything. She's 4 of 6 from the field. She's played 16 minutes as we look again at this bounce pass from Carey underneath Watts to find Hornig. Dykstra a little space for a pick and pop and can't get it. Carey one-on-one with Dykstra in transition. It's going to be Pioneers ball.
Western bench didn't agree. I have no angle to make any comment on that. We'll get a look here.
It's a very close call. Once again, Dykstra plays this just about perfectly. Gets the hand in at a good time. That could have gone either way. On the inbound pass, they get it to Carey, who's open, and she's got 6 points here in the second half. She only had 1 all of the first half. She has 6 of the 8 points the Pioneers have scored here in the second half. Lead is 13 right now for Western Washington. Dykstra skips around 1, draws the foul against Hornig. That will be her 3rd personal. And she looks disappointed with herself.
She will go to the bench, and Glenn Osland will come back in.
That time just did not get her feet set. Dykstra going back to the free throw line, 3rd trip of the night. She's 3 for 4 from the charity stripe.
It's about where she was last year, about 74% from the free throw line. So
misses on that one, a little bit short and left.
The game's leading scorer with 11 points. Also the co-leader in assists with 5. Carey for East Bay has 5 as well.
Dykstra also the leading shot taker in this game. She's got 9 attempts from the floor. Entry pass finds Osland. Osland hounded by Maddie Grandboys, kicks it out, a 3-point attempt, rattles in from Taylor Eldridge.
Defender got caught behind the screen, and Taylor Eldridge made the Vikings pay.
First 3-point attempt and first 3-point make for Eldridge. Wickstrom kicks it out, Grandboys finds Oberg, didn't like the look. They'll slow it down. Grandboys guarded by Valencia. 10 on the shot clock, and Wickstrom traveled.
Are they calling that tighter tonight? And is that, I'm not aware of a point of emphasis on that, but, and it's been consistent. I'm not even being critical of this. It just seems like we've seen some things, and not as much that one, but some of the other traveling calls tonight have been tighter than what we've seen in past seasons.
You saw Eldridge there on the three-pointer. She had a tough start to the season, just 1 for 7 from downtown.
And another block for Dykstra.
Dykstra has been on it offensively and defensively tonight. Even on shots she hasn't blocked, she has disrupted on several occasions. Picks up her second blocked shot. As a beautiful pass from Mason Oberg finds the cutting. Demi Dykstra, that was pretty.
Maybe the prettiest offensive play of the night there.
A no look. Behind the back bounce pass. Has it 49-36, back up to a 13-point lead. Osland passes it off to Carey, and one.
He is on fire. 8 points in 4 minutes and 31 seconds here.
She had 1 point through the first 20.
For Layla Carey, the freshman from Novato.
Carey coming off a freshman season in which she was an immediate starter for the Pioneers. She made 17 starts, had 5.4 points per game. Her season high last year was 11. She misses the free throw. She's at 9 right now.
Sophomore, excuse me.
As driving in there is Taylor Eldridge right at the Vikings, and East Bay have been coming at the Vikes here in this third quarter of this game. They've cut the lead down to 9 points, and it's another timeout for Carmen Dolfo. We'll stay here for it.
That's a 30.
It's a 30-second timeout for Carmen Dolfo. Butch, tell me about this turnaround that the Pioneers have been able to create.
They've just been so much more efficient at the offensive end, and most of that has been built around Eldridge and Carey. They're 7 of 9 in this quarter. And it's interesting because in the first half they tried to use the size a little more, the size advantage to go inside. Now it's been off the quickness, stuff off the dribble, off of perimeter screens and things like that to create things. And as Layla Carey has been the big factor in that with 8 points in this quarter, and then you get the 5 points of Taylor Eldridge in this quarter as well. So
Carey with the 9 points. She also has 5 assists, 3 rebounds in this game. She also leads the Pioneers in minutes at 19. Look again at this beautiful feed from Mason Oberg. We saw flashes of that all of last season. And
the look away, the nice cut.
a couple of night dishes already tonight. She had the transition assist to Olivia Wickstrom, which was perfectly executed.
I suspect we see that most recent one there in a highlight package at the end of the year.
Absolutely. Box that up, send it out. Oberg 6 points tonight. Once again, she's had a tough night from the field, going 2 for 8. That's been the story so far this season. Everything has been working except for the jumper. She has hit a three-pointer. We're at 5 minutes, 7 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Vikings have led in this game by as much as 19. That was with 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. Pioneers have come back to make it a single-digit lead. East Bay are 5 of their last 6, and the Vikings out of the timeout turn it over the head of Oberg.
That's the first time that the pressure has really gotten to Western. So 4 turnovers in this quarter, though. Most of them have been in the half court. The full court pressure, really, until that one, had not flustered them much. Maybe it's taken them out of the rhythm a little bit offensively.
They did so well working around it in the first half, finding their shot, running their game. As the Pioneers working in and out, and they get it to Donnelly for 3, bounces it in. And it is just a 6-point lead for the Vikings. And another turnover, this time in the backcourt for the Vikings. They get it right back, though. Going to ground was Valencia. Dykstra picked it up. Transition layup for Deaver. She makes it count.
Yeah, that ends a 7-0 run, so a pretty critical play for the Vikings there off a scrambly play.
You're absolutely right. They desperately needed that. It was almost a turnover and a chance to cut even further into the lead for Valencia, who gave it right back.
Western in a zone here. Got a 3-2 look.
Long pass finds Dykstra straight in. Too strong in the layup, rebounded by Wickstrom. Wickstrom has been an excellent rebounder her 2 years here at Western Washington. Came in tonight as one of the Vikings' 2 leading rebounders alongside. It doesn't go in. You're like, why'd you take that shot? But with the shot clock going down,
you had to, right? And
she makes it count, though, and she extends the lead back to double digits. As that pass was deflected out off of Deaver. Tried the entry into Oslin. Deaver got a hand in. Watts is going to come back in, as well as the hot hand of Layla Carey. You look again at this take by Grand Boys with the left hand just floating it up in. Oslin to Smith. Smith, 5 on the shot clock. She's got to do something with it. Hands it off to Eldridge and back inside to Oslin. 2 blue shirts ahead of her. She can't get up a quality shot, can't draw iron, and that is a shot clock violation. Oberg, 2 white shirts keeping her at the Viking logo. Just gets it ahead to Wickstrom. Took a bump from Oslin. Oslin's 2nd personal foul. They've been trying to jump the passing lanes all night, and it's led to a decent amount of fouls. That's their 11th on the game. 9 for the Vikings. Oberg calls the play. And they get it to Grand Boys. Works around a Deaver screen. Back to Deaver. 1-on-1 with Oslin. Gets it down low. Watts had a mismatch, but lost her footing. Slips out to Grand Boys. 3 on the shot clock. They didn't reset it, and Wickstrom draws iron on the 3, which is enough after the offensive rebound again for the Vikings, extending the offensive possession. Oberg, strong drive in. She's going to be called for an offensive
fair
foul.
Call. He swung the left arm to create some space. A nice finish, but it's not going to count. And you see that arm extends, and you could have maybe called the bump before that, but when that arm comes out, that's what the official's going to see more than anything else.
It was Brooke Donnelly drawing the foul. Oberg's first personal. Deaver on the court right now, the only Viking with 3 personal fouls. Carey kicks it back to Smith. Donnelly, and now down low to Sierra Morris, tries her luck from mid-range, can't get that to fall. Rebounded by Oberg, skips ahead. And we're going to see how that call goes. It's going to be in favor of the Vikings off the fingertips of Taylor Eldridge, as Demi Dykstra immediately back into the game, heavy minutes. She is still the leading scorer tonight with 14, despite only going 4 of 11 from the field. She's hit 4 of her 6 free throws and 2 3-pointers.
7 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks.
Double-double watch. Dykstra drew contact from Valencia. Strong arm ahead. Excuse me, that was against Mariah Smith.
3rd foul on Smith.
Smith and Hornung both with 3 fouls for the Pioneers. Deaver inbounds it to Dykstra. Hands it off to Grand Boys. 10 on the shot clock, takes it in herself, lays it in with the left hand.
They set up that little double stagger there, and when she shrugged away from it, the defender was just completely out of position, and Maddie Grand Boys had a wide open lane to the basket.
Grand Boys is 4 for 4. Donnelly, time she gets the balls, calls a shooter from the Vikings bench. They're keeping a close eye on her, as she already has 2 3-pointers in this game, this time driving in and missing on a floater. And there's a minute left here in the 3rd quarter. Dykstra to Wickstrom, working from the wing, drives it in on the baseline. Turns and looks for options. She doesn't find any. Throws it straight to the Pioneers into the hands of Taylor Eldridge, running the transition. Too heavy was the pass. Did it take a touch off of Viking? It did not. Vikings ball. Mason Oberg is going to replace Olivia Wickstrom. Oberg 6 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists so far in this one. Wickstrom 10 points, leads the Vikings with 5 rebounds. She takes a seat. Wide open three-pointer for Oberg. Misses it.
And Deaver got cleared out in the rebound. It'll be the 5th team foul on the Pioneers, so Allison Deaver will get a couple of free throws.
Deaver, as we've said, an excellent foul shooter.
That foul on Sierra Morris is her first.
And we're seeing Mason Oberg contribute to this team in a number of ways, and once those shots start falling, that's just going to increase.
And Mason's history is, she's going to start making those. It's a matter of time. As Deaver gets a kind bounce on rims that are not as soft as they used to be.
Allegedly. I've seen a few that still look like last season. And once again.
The rim at this end was never as loose as the one at the other one, and there's a clear difference in that rim.
Smith, quick movement around the perimeter here from the Pioneers. Just a 2-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Carey goes up and gets fouled by Deaver. That's her 4th. Raya Smith will go to the line. Olivia Wickstrom set to come back in to see out this 3rd quarter. Excuse me, it was Layla Carey drawing the contact and going to the line. Deaver, who is the majority of the Vikings' size with this current roster, her and Jaden Watts. Of course, not accounting for CC's size, as the first free throw is in from
You
Layla
really
Carey.
went there, didn't you?
Did.
You really went there. Carey not needing that soft rim here in the first.
Does not draw iron, but does on the second.
That would have gone in last year.
It would have.
Of course, Demi Dykstra's uncle Grant, a career 40% three-point shooter, and a number of threes in his career at that end.
Dykstra's going to get called for the offensive foul. Drawing it was Brooke Donnelly. Definitely took his shoulder to the midsection.
She got there. Is she? She's well outside the area. Nice defense by Brooke Donnelly.
And it'll be the last possession for the Pioneers. They got to get it up the court quickly. 3 on the clock, 2. Carey with it. She's had the hot hand in this quarter, but that one is off the top of the backboard and out. Vikings maintaining this lead, though. It's 13 points right now. Western Washington 57, East Bay 44 when we return for the last quarter.
Original, never compromise. Nobody can mess with my copyright. Make it look easy, I don't have to try that. Go and get it. Go and get it.
The legacy began in 1973. That was the year NCAA Division II was born. And since the very first day, our division has shaped generations of student athletes with a true sense of academics, athletics, and community. That is 5 decades of graduations, championships, teamwork, and personal development. 50 years of shaping student athletes into world-class leaders. NCAA Division II. Our division, our legacy.
Welcome back. We head to the 4th quarter with Western holding a 57-44 lead over visiting Cal State East Bay. Demi Dykstra, the leading scorer on the night with 14 points, also 7 assists. And it is 10 points each for Olivia Wickstrom and Allison Deaver for the Vikings. At the other end, 10 points, 9 of them in that quarter for Layla Carey. Also 10 points for Taylor Eldridge, and 8 points in a game-high, 8 rebounds for Annika Horning. Again, 57-44 as we go to the 4th. The lead did get down briefly to 6 there, but Western able to extend it back out to 13 as we head to the 4th quarter. The play-by-play with Adam Race.
Thank you, Butch. Vikings have led for all of this game. They got up to an early 6-1 start in this one and seemed to have had complete hold of it in the 2nd quarter. That lead ballooned up to 19, but East Bay has gone on a couple runs. Carey had a really good 3rd quarter. They hit a couple three-pointers courtesy of Donnelly, and they're certainly still in this as Carey gets space on the perimeter. Swatted away by Wickstrom momentarily, but retained by East Bay. A mid-range shot falls for Hornung. She's had foul trouble tonight and a little bit of turnover trouble, but other than that, she has been really effective.
10 points, 8 rebounds in 17 minutes. Very effective indeed.
Dykstra, she's on 14 points. Another bucket would give her a career high.
It matches it actually already. She had 14 against Central last year.
15 against Cal State LA
Oh, you
last
got me.
time out.
Sorry. Well done.
I got to take my wins here. You usually have me on the trivia.
I should have known better.
As the jump shot is off on the Vikings offensive end.
Last year's season high was 14 points.
As Oslin gets it under the basket, she gets fouled. She'll go to the line, much to the delight of her traveling fan base here at Carver Gym.
So apparently what this tells us is that I'm really good with the ancient history, but not good with the recent history of Saturday.
When it happened last week, I've got it covered.
Yes.
Osland, 2 years at Bellevue College, graduate of Mount Si High School. 11 points versus Northwest Nazarene, but went 1 for 8 from the floor against Central Washington as she missed a couple free throws. They get it ahead to Wickstrom. Tried to work it around the defense, and it just got to Mason Oberg. Almost a turnover. Vikings avoid that, though. Wickstrom goes up strong, draws a foul. She'll go to the line once again. There's been a lot of free throw shooting in this game between these two teams, approaching 30 total foul shots after Wickstrom takes these two. As Rosamana's going to check back in for Grand Boys. Grand Boys, who is perfect from the field right now, 4 of 4 to go along with a game-leading 3 steals. Wickstrom hits the first free throw.
11 points, 5 rebounds for Olivia. Had an important role off the bench primarily last year. She's going to be counted on for bigger things this season.
Coming into this game, she was amongst the Vikings' leading scorers as well as their joint leading rebounder, as that one took a deflection off of Dykstra, and it'll go out for East Bay. Carey trying to find Osland all the way in the paint. She ran out of time there trying to get it in and just forced it. Turnover number 20.
As it's not touched, it'll call all the way back out to that inbound spot near midcourt.
Dykstra working against Carey. Once again, just needs 1 bucket for a career high. She goes to ground there. If she had gotten around Hornig, she would have had a lane, but she'll take the foul. Another one against Hornig. That makes it 4 for her.
That's important because she's had a very good night. He said, been in some foul trouble and have to go to the bench with that again. Hornig and Allison Deaver on the bench for the Vikings with 4 fouls.
Hornig and Casey coming off. Valencia checking in. Eldridge on the floor, as well as Sierra Morris now. Dykstra for 3. That one is a little strong and a little right, as a tie-up and a jump ball forced by Olivia Wickstrom off the rebound.
Vikings will keep it on the alternating possession as well.
Vikings have done a good job in that, battling for every rebound down to the last second. Cannot knock the Vikings hustler through their first 2 games, just haven't gotten the close game to go their way, and a couple of their stars haven't shot at the level we know they can. As there's going to be another foul called against East Bay, this time going against Gwen Osland. That is her 4th. Let's make that her 3rd, excuse me.
Forearm on Jaden Watt's shoulder and kind of pushed her down with that. Oh, look at this.
As Demi Dykstra can't get the layup to go off a good inbound play. Mid-range immediately down the other end from Eldridge is off the mark. Just get pass ahead. Wickstrom all the way in. Can't get that to go. Rosamena battling for the rebound. Does enough to get it out to Wickstrom. Rosamena doing it herself. She'll go to the line as Osland once again is whistled. Vikings looking to wear down this East Bay defense, who are having trouble.
The Gwen Osland fan club was not pleased with that call.
Not
we
at
could
all.
Hear an audible groan from off to the left and behind us a little bit there.
An exciting day, though. Return to her home state.
Got to play 2 games in Ellensburg, which is just a short hop over the hill from Snoqualmie. So
First couple games at the D2 level in Washington. Rosamana can't hit the free throws.
Vikings missing opportunities here, missing layups, missing free throws. Really good opportunity to put this thing away and just haven't quite capitalized on it yet.
12 and 16 from the line as Wickstrom almost picked up the steal, almost jumped the pass, but couldn't get there. Eldridge. Arosamena. Strong defense on Morris. Forces her to lose the dribble. 8 on the shot clock. Carey with it. Carey goes to ground. She was fouled. Wickstrom and Dykstra both involved in there. Gonna see who they call it on. It will go against Demi Dykstra. Her second of the night.
Say it was a trip.
Stever on 4 fouls is ready to come back in, as well as Maddie Grandboys. Dykstra comes out and Watts comes out. The lead, as it stands right now, it's just 15. Vikings, as you said, Butch, have had a few chances to start putting this one away, and they haven't been able to just yet. East Bay still in it. Excuse me, make that a 13-point lead. There's a reason I'm a journalism major and not a math major.
Wickstrom picks up a foul. The pace of this quarter has slowed. We've had 7 fouls in 2 minutes and 37 seconds here.
Referees have been busy. This game, which at times has worked at a very quick pace, as there's another turnover. This time it's going to be assessed against Taylor Eldridge, number 21 for the Pioneers, number 5 for Eldridge. A couple of players for East Bay with 5 turnovers are Eldridge and Valencia. As Oberg takes it herself. Pretty layup on the reverse. Mason Oberg now up to 8 points, and it has been a stylish 8 points. Handful of assists as well. As Eldridge tries her luck herself, leaves it a little long. Oberg comes down with the rebound. Once again, tried to thread the needle, and it's going to be a kick ball, so it'll stay at this end. As Brooke Donnelly, 3-point threat, comes on to replace Carey. Pioneers need those quick points that Donnelly can provide. As you see the fake pass in the reverse, that is really nice. Wickstrom to Grandboys off the bench. Arosamena. Offensive foul called against Jalen Arosamena. Excuse me, offensive foul on an illegal screen against Deaver, and that's her night. That's 5.
So played just 19 minutes, but did have 10 points, 4 rebounds. So the time that she was in there was efficient, but just couldn't stay out of foul trouble tonight.
Look at it.
And all 5 fouls in the second half, actually, too, right? Or no,
Yeah.
excuse me.
She
the 3
picked
in
up
the second
3 in
quarter.
about a
Yeah.
30-second span in the second quarter of the game, and eventually those do catch up with her. Valencia. Donnelly, Vikings guarding her close on the perimeter. The dribble is lost by Sierra Morris. Vikings pick up yet another steal. Entry pass to Arosamena. Faked the pass out to the perimeter and took the shot herself. Hasn't been falling right now for Arosamena. She goes to now 2 and 6 on the night. Hit her first shot of the night, and since then has got 1 of 5. The Vikings will get free throws as Wickstrom was fouled. Krista Schaefer comes back in. She will replace Sierra Morris. Schaefer 2 points in this game, 1 for 3. As Wickstrom hits the free throw. She remains perfect on the night from the charity stripe, now at 4 for 4.
13 points, 6 rebounds for Olivia Wickstrom.
14 points now ties her for leading scorer with Demi Dykstra. Pioneers need to get some points in a hurry before the Vikings are able to put this one to bed with just under 6 minutes remaining. Pull up, mid-range, long mid-range shot. Nothing but net, but not in the net, short. Vikings come up with the rebound. Dykstra passes up the transition 3 to Grandboys, who hits. Demi Dykstra now has 8 assists. Selfless play from the sophomore has the Vikings up by 20 with 5.5 remaining. We will be right back here from Carver Gym.
The Teaching and Learning Academy is an organization that's housed in the library, and it's where people come to have conversations.
They deal with serious issues that have emotional impact in ways that are typically not found in a class.
We've talked about diversity and inclusivity on our campus and in our community.
It not only enriches my education, but also impacts the ways that I can continue my leadership roles.
Welcome back to Sam Carver Gymnasium. The Vikings have opened up a 20-point lead, 66-46. Welcome wherever you might be listening tonight across the state of Washington or the United States or anywhere in the world. Home opener for the Vikings, the first webcast we have done for the women's side this year. Of course, did the men's tournament last weekend, the first of many along the way here, and what promises to be an exciting season. Not maybe, as we said, the roster that the Vikings plan to bring into this year, but they've been very efficient tonight, very balanced. 4 players in double figures, and then Mason Oberg with 8 points as well.
It has been defensively sound, as we've come to expect from Carmen Dolfo's Vikings, as once again, jumping the passing lane, getting a hand on it is Maddie Grandploys, but this one's going to go out Pioneers ball. Vikings have forced 22 turnovers. Pioneers are shooting 42% from the field and 37% from 3, but it hasn't mattered. They haven't gotten enough shots up, as this time getting it in is Gwen Osland. Osland's second bucket of the night.
She's got about 15 people here.
She does. As Oberg transition 3, gets it in. That's 9 assists for Demi Dykstra. Her previous career high was 2. Smith gets it off to Osland. This game is looking to be put to bed off that Oberg 3, so we might see some rotation here.
And the Gwen Osland fan club is going to be disappointed. She's been called for an illegal screen. Is that's 4. Is her, that's her 5th that they have on the board here.
Still out on the court.
I think it is, in fact, 5 fouls.
They are yes, it will be 5 fouls.
Yeah. 4 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists tonight. The junior from Snoqualmie.
She'll get a warm round of applause as she exits. The junior adjusting to her first few games at the Division II level. Dykstra passes it into Mason Oberg. Dykstra's just an assist away from a double-double. Olivia Wickstrom goes up, smothered on the layup attempt, but gets her own rebound. Tries it again, turning. 2 white shirts ahead of her, but it doesn't matter. And 1. Olivia Wickstrom playing big right there.
And Annika Horning, who came in, fouls out. That's her 5th.
Hornig, who has been one of the stars tonight for East Bay, will go to the bench. That's really impressive, working around the size of Hornig and Schaefer to get that to go. Hornig asking the question of her 5th foul. It's not going to change the referee's mind. She will go to the bench. Frustrating night for her is when she was not fouling. She was just playing just about as well as she could. 5 for 7 from the field, 8 rebounds, a block, and a steal in just 19 minutes.
Yeah, very, very solid when she was in there.
Schaefer passed it off. Gives it to Eldridge. Eldridge going for the reverse layup. Gets to go. That's a nice take.
It came in as their leading scorer at about 12 a game, and they're shown why tonight.
Up to Grandboyce and back to Oberg. You can see here, even with a 22-point lead, 4 minutes remaining, Carmen Dolfo still leading a lot of the starters out there. She really has no choice with how shallow this bench is right now, as that's going to be a jump ball between Sierra Morris, Jaden Watts, possession arrow for the Pioneers.
Yeah, 4 starters, and then Jaden Watts on the floor for Allison Deaver, who has fouled out.
3 players tonight for the Vikings above 30 minutes. Demi Dykstra, Mason Oberg, and Maddie Grandboyce. Schaefer tries her luck from 3, short. Taken by Wickstrom. Dykstra works around a 3-player press. They get it to Grandboyce for 3, no good.
Oh, the perfect shooting night.
She was 5 for 5 and 2 for 2 from 3. She misses her first of the night.
It was a great night for her, though.
It was a good find, just couldn't get it to go. And on the rebound, there was a foul against Mason Oberg, it looks like. So going to the line will be Taylor Eldridge. This one looks to be all done, but the paperwork with 22 points the difference.
So this East Bay team is retooling a little bit. Their 2 leading scorers from last year are gone, losing Peyton Stirk, who transferred to Washburn in the MIAA, and then their second leading scorer, Jayla Richardson, the daughter of NBA player Jason Richardson, who graduated. She was an honorable mention all-conference performer, and Stirk was, I believe, a first or second team performer. So 2 big holes to fill, and still trying to find their way, as you said, some transfers and other things, and see how the year rolls for them.
10th in the CCAA last year, but predicted 7th in the preseason poll this season, so some growth expected for the Pioneers in a really tough CCAA conference. Vikings already seen firsthand how tough that conference is, with a couple of losses to open the season, as a good find has Jaden Watts putting it in. The dish from Oberg. Immediately down the other way is Eldridge, strong on a layup, rebounded by Wickstrom. Demi Dykstra went to the bench, replaced by CC Size. That'll probably do it for her, so she does not pick up her career high in points or the double-double, but 9 assists for her. I'll say again, her previous career high in a game was 2. Step back 3 from Oberg, back iron and out, and an over-the-back call is going to go against Watts. Oh, excuse me, it's going to be a foul against Layla Carey for boxing her out too heavy. We look again at this nice pass by Oberg. Solid finish by Watts.
Maybe the most impressive thing about the Vikings' offensive performance tonight, 18 assists for 26 field goals. So you're pushing up there of over 60%, almost 70% in assist ratio to field goals is outstanding. And the Vikings have always been near the top of Division II in that. They move the ball very well.
Watts hits the second free throw. Vikings now up to 76 points, a 25-point lead, and an offensive foul. And who else to draw it but Maddie Grandboyce, one of the players who, like we've seen from Grant Kepley on the men's end, getting very acquainted with the hardwood here in the Wiku court.
Very true, and Maddie Grandboyce will come out. She will leave with 12 points on 5 of 6 shooting. A couple of threes, 4 steals as well.
It's a great night for her.
And a number of floor burns.
As a foul is called on Smith. East Bay's bench not happy about it. Smith was applying the full court press to Mason Oberg. She'll go back to the line as this game has slowed down to a crawl down the stretch. Oberg will go back to the line, second time for her tonight. She's on 11 points. Go along with 5 rebounds and 5 assists. Olivia Wickstrom now in a double-double with 17 points and 10 rebounds. Oberg hits the first and makes it 2 for 2. 78-51 Vikings. They get to the corner. A foul is going to be called against CC Size for getting a hand in.
That will be the 16th foul of the quarter between the two teams.
It has been a whistle-heavy 10 minutes and really just 7 minutes here. We've still got
Interesting because up to that point, we'd only had 23 through the first 3 quarters. It was a pretty whistle-free game, and somehow we got the start of the 4th quarter, and there were a bunch of them. And I don't know if the players change, you get fatigued, and you start reaching more or what, but pace of the game has slowed considerably.
Vikings, after this game, this is their only home game in November. It's confirmed we're going to get Demi Dykstra on a post-game interview. A career night for her. One of many Viking players that we could have gotten for this post-game interview, many who have had a great game. It's really hard to pick a player of the game for this one.
5 players in double figures, 17 for Wickstrom, 14 for Dykstra, 13 for Oberg, 12 for Grand Boys, 10 for Deaver, and let's throw in 8 for Jaden Watts as well.
Yep.
So 6 players with 8 points or more. Really a balanced effort tonight.
East Bay trying to make it a little nicer on the box score at the end, as that lay-in is good from Taylor Eldridge. She's had a good night.
Yeah, she's up to 15 points now. Yeah.
Turnover by the Vikings in the backcourt. Transition 3 by Smith off of the turnover, won't go. As Oberg is going to commit a foul. And once again, we will go to the line. Plenty of time to talk about the Vikings' upcoming schedule. This is their only home game of November. They'll go on the road down to Seattle, just a couple hours drive down I-5, take on Azusa Pacific and Cal State San Marcos in the SPU Falcon Classic before going to Ellensburg for the CWU Thanksgiving Classic against Biola and Westminster, and then finally return here to Carver Gym against MSU Billings to start GNAC play.
Of course, the other thing happening down at Seattle Pacific this weekend, or at least at Interbay Stadium, is the GNAC soccer tournament.
Yes.
Western women's team will be playing in that Thursday afternoon.
Western women's soccer undefeated in GNAC play. Red hot right now, trying to pick up a GNAC tournament title after winning the regular season title. Wickstrom with the ball. She's had a great night, a double-double, 17 points, 10 rebounds. Size kicks it to Watts. They get it back to Wickstrom. Good ball movement on the perimeter leads to a layup for Wickstrom. Another excellent performance from her. She's really stepped into this increased role here. Played sort of a first player off the bench role last season, as a long three-pointer is missed by Brooke Donnelly.
And 80 points after being in the 50s the first 2 games. And I think it's going to be a very encouraging sign for Coach Carmen Dolfo that the Vikings were able to get the offense generated tonight. And we might get a double foul here. Let's see what we get.
And the referees are signaling players to their benches, so perhaps looking at a possible flagrant foul. Donnelly went to ground hard. It's gotten a little scrappy.
We'll get a
down
look
the
at it
stretch.
here, and there's a
Ooh, that's not a great look right there. Perhaps some contact from Wickstrom, some frustration. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little extra called on that, but referees will go to the monitor.
We'll go over and review it.
And that would be a shame for Wickstrom to pick up after such a excellent night with 19 points, 11 rebounds, 6 of 12 from the field. That's the best field goal percentage of any Viking tonight at 50%. As a whole, though, Western Washington shooting 43% from the field, an impressive 41% from three-point range, 7 of 17.
Yep. And from the foul line as well, 79% there, 19 of 24. Just for comparison's sake, the field goal percentage is about even. East Bay at 42%, but only 27% from three-point range, 3 of 11, and 63% from the foul line, 12 of 19. East Bay had an advantage in rebounds at halftime, but in the second half, the Vikings have taken over there. Now a 37-27 advantage on the boards, and we'll see it again here. Get a look, and we don't really see it there, but there were this look here. And
it's a bit of an arm, bit of a forearm being thrown there.
The arm is definitely up, the forearm, and they're scrambling, and trying to fight her off, but
lashing out a little bit.
It would not be surprised if that's a flagrant.
Vikings getting a look at it up on the video board. It would just be to round out the numbers here as the Vikings continue to have this 23-point lead, and the pattern continues between these two head-to-head. Western Washington will go to 7-0 against the Pioneers, and all 7 of those not particularly close. Of course, no shame for East Bay against a Vikings team that has just always been one of the best programs in the West region, one of the best programs in the nation in women's basketball under legendary 34th season head coach Carmen Dolfo.
Can't call her legendary when I watched her play. That just makes me feel
sorry.
old.
It's
Come
just
on.
the facts, Butch. Winningest basketball coach in Western Washington history, surpassing Brad Jackson recently.
A couple other things in the GNAC tonight. In the women's side, Northwest Nazarene went to Oregon State. Was defeated 80-52. And then on the men's side, a huge rivalry. Northwest Nazarene 69, College of Idaho 66. Those two schools are about 4 or 5 miles apart. One in Caldwell, one in Nampa, and that is an absolute war. That will sometimes draw 3,000 or 4,000 people, and it's one of the best rivalries outside Division I that you're going to find. It is an incredible battle.
One of a few of these inter-division rivalries we see in the GNAC. Of course, the Rimrock rivalry between Montana State University Billings and Rocky Mountain College over in the Magic City. That is
Magic City. Well done.
Hotly contested rivalry year in, year out in all sports. I've been waiting for a chance to drop the Magic City.
Magic City reference. My son's roommate is from Billings, and we never referred to it as the Magic City.
My experiences in Billings weren't magic, but it's an optimistic name. As we're having conversation here between the head coaches and the referees.
The other GNAC performance at Oregon State tonight, the Western Oregon men's team plays the Oregon, and Gray Garrison, Carmen's son, plays for Oregon State. So
Garrison spread out across college basketball. Of course, Aspen Garrison, unfortunately sidelined this season with an injury. Will get a medical red shirt. So we're going to get word on the foul.
So the initial call is a hold on Brooke Donnelly, and then we'll get the rest of that in just a moment here as Wickstrom shoots the free throws for that.
So it looks like we're going to have shots on both sides, if I'm not mistaken. It was the hold on Donnelly. So it was the hold on Wickstrom, or excuse me, the hold on Donnelly and the intentional foul lashing out on Wickstrom. So technical free throws on both ends of the floor. Wickstrom hits hers and Donnelly hits hers. She'll take one more. As the game continues on, this is a long fourth quarter, and a fourth quarter that hasn't been close. Vikings 25 points in this quarter.
We did not jinx this, in baseball or even in football sometimes. So, the game's moving quickly.
Can't say that.
We did not say that.
We did not.
It's not our fault.
Especially you look at those softball doubleheaders. First game's going by quick. You do not mention it.
It's the beauty of soccer, right? You know pretty much when it's going to end. There may be a good bolt of extra time, but still.
And off the restart, we just have a minute remaining here as Sierra Morris rims out on a mid-range attempt as another foul. It's against Donnelly, and Oberg will once again go to the line. That is the third foul against Donnelly. Wickstrom will, Mason Oberg will go to the line for the third time tonight. She's 3 for 4. She's got 13 points in the game. Oberg now up to 14 points. That is the highest total this season. Had 12 against Cal State LA and 8 against Cal State Dominguez Hills. Oberg hits them both. 84-59 Vikings. Largest lead of the night was 27, now at 25. Valencia in the corner now to Krista Schaefer. Hands it off to Smith. 10 on the shot clock. Long possession here for the Pioneers, trying to find their best shot. Won't find it there. They're forced to hand it off to Valencia. 4 on the shot clock. In the paint, smothered and blocked away by Watts. Milliseconds separate the shot clock and game clocks. The Vikings are going to all but dribble this one out.
First victory of the season, and a well-deserved one at that.
We will hear from Demi Dykstra after the buzzer here on this career night for her. I feel bad calling her the player of the game because I don't know if that's true. So many players had excellent performances here. It's really just so hard to call.
An incredibly balanced effort.
As Oberg is going to pull up and miss on that one, and that's going to do it. 84-59, the Vikings take the victory here in convincing fashion. They shot 43% from the field as a team, 39% from three, and 82% from the foul line. Shot 28 foul shots and made them count. A good first win of this season. They get it done at Carver Gym. Points leader is Olivia Wickstrom at 21 point, 11 rebound double-double. Demi Dykstra 14 points and a career high 9 assists, go along with 2 steals and 2 blocks. 10 points from Allison Deaver, 15 from Mason Oberg, 12 from Grand Boys to go along with 4 steals to lead all players on Cal State East Bay's side. Eldridge 17 points on 6 of 10 shooting, 4 of 6 from the line with 3 assists and 2 steals. East Bay go to 0-3. Vikings go to 1-2, as we'll have word from Demi Dykstra in just a minute here before we say goodnight. Demi, thank you for giving us a couple minutes here to answer some questions. Really good first win of the season today. Tell me about what it means to get that first win of 24-25 and a complete team performance.
I mean, obviously a win feels good, especially after our first 2 losses. We just wanted to come out and work together and win together, and that's what we did.
Guys forced 24 turnovers tonight. Talk about the all-around defensive effort.
We just wanted to come out and pressure them, help each other, play together on defense, and really get after them.
And for you, distributing the ball tonight, 9 assists. Your previous career high was 2. Talk about finding other players tonight and getting everybody involved offensively.
My team just does such a great job of moving to holes and getting open in order for me to pass to them. Like, we move the ball so well, so it makes it easy to drive and then kick out to them.
15 points last week was a career high, 14 tonight. Talk about this increased offensive role you've had and really stepping into taking more shots and scoring more points game to game.
Yeah, with 4 starters not being here this year, like, a bunch of us have to step up and take on new roles, and it's not just me having to take on more roles, it's a bunch of other people, and I think we're really getting it and doing a good job.
Thank you so much, Demi. Great game tonight. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Vikings go to 1-2. They will go on the road to Seattle Pacific to take on Azusa Pacific and Cal State San Marcos next week. They will be back here at Carver Gym the week of December 5th to take on MSU Billings and Seattle Pacific. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. For Adam Race and my co-host Butch Kamena, thank you so much for tuning in from our entire Vikings TV crew. Final score once again, 84-59 Vikings. Good night, and as always, Sko Vikes.